We're going to explore the psychology behind why you might find it, way easier to trust your dog than your coworker, and what that actually says about you. So let me ask you something right off the bat. Have you ever looked at your pet and just felt this click? This sense of understanding that's just so much clearer than most human conversations? If you're nodding your head right now, even a little bit, then stick with me. You are definitely not alone in this. Okay, so what is this feeling we're talking about? Let's actually break down what that connection is at its most fundamental level. At its core, it's really about this powerful sense of empathy. It's that feeling of being with another living being that just sees you, without any judgment. There are no complicated social rules, no trying to read between the lines. It's just a pure, unfiltered connection. It's a feeling of being completely and totally accepted for who you are in that moment. But let's be honest for a second. Sometimes society can make this deep connection feel, well, a little odd, right? You might have even wondered to yourself, is it normal to feel this way? So let's just tackle that idea head on. And this is where things get really interesting. On one hand, you might hear labels thrown around like antisocial or strange, but the psychological truth? Well, it's the exact opposite. Feeling this way actually points to someone who is highly empathetic and deeply, deeply attuned to the world around them. And it really boils down to this one simple, powerful idea. Feeling closer to animals isn't weird. It's a sign of a nervous system that finds peace in honesty. See, this isn't about avoiding people. It's about your own nervous system actively searching for what feels authentic and honest. So, if it's not weird, what is it then? Well, it turns out this feeling is actually rooted in some pretty fascinating science about how our brains are literally hardwired. First up, there's this concept called biophilia. It's basically the idea that all humans have this innate biological need to connect with nature and other living things. It's baked right into our evolutionary code. So that pull you feel towards animals, that's not some random quirk. It's a deep, fundamental part of what it means to be human. And then you've got this piece of the puzzle, high emotional attunement. Now, this is just a fancy way of saying you have a heightened ability to pick up on nonverbal cues. A subtle shift in posture, a change in tone, a look in the eyes. And think about it, animals communicate almost entirely through these signals. So if you're highly attuned, it makes total sense that you'd find their language incredibly easy to understand. Okay, so we've got these two big ideas. Biophilia, our innate need to connect with nature, and high emotional attunement. But how do those two things actually translate into that feeling of safety and peace that we get from being around animals? Well, it really comes down to a few key things. Animals are honest. What they show you is what they feel. Their signals are crystal clear. A wagging tail means happy, a growl means back off. There's no subtext, no hidden meaning. And for a nervous system that's already highly attuned and processing everything, that clarity is just incredibly calming. It's like a break from all the noise of human communication. And here's the absolute key. An animal's reaction is always happening right here, in the present moment. They aren't holding a grudge from last week or planning some passive-aggressive move for later. What you see is what you get. For a brain that craves honesty, that is like a huge breath of fresh air. Now, I want us to completely reframe this entire idea. We've figured out it isn't weird, and we know there's some real science behind it. But let's take it one step further. Let's start talking about this as a genuine strength, a kind of superpower. I really want you to let this sink in for a second. This preference for animal connection is not a social deficit. It is a powerful, undeniable sign of high emotional intelligence. It's the ability to perceive and understand emotion on a level that goes way beyond spoken language. So, what are we really talking about here? What are your strengths? Number one, you excel at reading the unspoken signals that most other people just miss completely. And number two, you have a mind that is actively, constantly seeking out what is honest, what is genuine, and what is peaceful. These are not small things. These are profound skills to have. At the end of the day, this is a form of perception. It's about having a mind that can read the subtle, unspoken language of the world all around you, whether it's coming from an animal or a person. And that brings us to our final thought. I want to leave you with this question to really think about. If your mind is so finely tuned that you can sense the fear or the joy or the needs of an animal with such amazing clarity, what else can you sense? What other truths are you picking up on that just fly right under the radar for everyone else? Your connection to animals, it isn't just about them. It's about your own remarkable ability to perceive the world.